Hey, listen, right now, we're about to start the Ballinesian podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Someone's talking sports here. What is it? May 5th? Happy Cinco de Mayo. Oh my gosh.
Oh man,
Uh,
see, we should have got on yesterday, so we could have been like May the Fourth be with you, but we
oh, you
didn't.
watched a bunch of Star
So
Wars?
I did. Man, oh, I didn't send it to you. There's a whole bunch of memes too. I sent out to a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean?
Oh, you
That's
know
the
that I
whole.
haven't watched them, so you're like, I won't send them to Lance. Okay,
You haven't watched them?
that's
You're
fine. We can talk about it.
you're making me sad.
Welcome in. Happy Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islanders month
Yeah,
here in the
yeah.
United States of America. This one's for y'all. Yeah, but someone's talking about sports. Charger and Raider fan. We're about to get into the Raiders resurgence. This is definitely for you Vegas fans or Oakland fans or even Los
This is
Angeles Raider
definitely for the
fans.
fans who aren't Vegas Raider fans because you guys think we're on a resurgence. We just think we've just been giving y'all time to win something, and you guys haven't. So now we're like, you know what? They had enough time. Let's
Talk to
get
me.
back into it.
Whoa, see the Raiders. Oh man, there's something about that like ridiculously irrational confidence, cockiness that Raider
Yeah,
Nation has when they start winning, when they have those good moves that have been
yeah.
happening
You
recently.
guys have been
Vibes are
put.
high.
The rest of the league has been put on notice. We're coming back to take whatever we let you guys have. You guys had enough time. You guys, anybody from the West didn't want to win. Well, ha ha. Your
It's okay.
time's up.
AFC West, we're in this. Uh yeah, we are the Ballinesian podcast here on the Polytickin network. Definitely tap in, support the Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube page, Polytickin network, follow the socials for the shows, rate 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and share people looking for contact. We are sponsored by Levasa Island Apparel. Shout out to Brother Uri down there in Modesto, California. They have the Via Dolorosa Neighborhood Market that is going to be happening this Saturday, May 10th from 2 to 9 p.m. there at 1331 Cascade Avenue. That's on the church grounds. Definitely go in, check out what they're doing with the land, with the building, what's going on. They're going to have a couple different vendors. Levasa confirmed. We'll have a tent there.
As
And
always,
some
as
food.
always.
Man, there's some food vendors and I think different
Man,
cakes. So
that's what. As soon as you said like the market, I got like instantly hungry, and so now I need some.
what?
I instantly got hungry, and now I need some tacos.
Some tacos, man. Okay, yeah, let's go get some food after this.
Okay.
We're talking Raiders resurgence. We're talking Dillon Gabriel, quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, and how he can win
Yep,
that
shout out
quarterback one spot.
Milani Trojans.
And then we're also going to be talking about The Rock and his interview on the Pat McAfee Show earlier this week. This man is giving away the game. It's a spoiler. Just drop it. Uncle Dwayne, close your pocket. Zip the
Yeah.
zipper. You're tripping.
He looks super odd in the movie, the makeup that they put on him.
Oh, yeah. No, that is great.
He looks
That
weird to me.
Safdie movie, what is it called? The
The
Monster Breaker
Beast.
Wrestling Man, whatever I forget what it's called, but he looks totally like a totally different person with the prosthetics that they put on there,
Yeah, no,
and
the makeup is
sounds
good.
different too.
It just it looks I don't know. I don't know. It's off to me, but it's good makeup. It just you know what it reminds me of? That movie he did with Kevin Hart where he's fat in the beginning and they
Central Intelligence.
yeah, and they strip him naked and push him in the beginning of the movie, push him into the gym.
Uh,
That's what it reminds me of. I don't know
uh, the prosthetics. Oh, because it looks different. The movie is called The Smashing Machine,
why.
and it's about
It's
Mark
based on
Kerr.
yep, based on
Was he a
an
UFC
actual
guy?
person,
One
UFC
of the
guy. Yeah,
original UFC guys? Okay.
yep,
Okay.
yeah,
You gotta watch it?
definitely. It's
For
it's the
sure.
Rock. Yeah, it's the
It's
Rock.
we gotta support Uncle Dwayne.
Right. I mean, not like that. I think he's got enough money that we don't need to support him. But I mean, it looks like a good movie, and he's usually really good in movies like that.
He said, we have a limited amount of dollars. We don't need to give them necessarily to do it.
We don't need
There
to give
are other
them
projects closer to our heart with local communities.
Yeah, like I mean, if you were like, "You gonna go watch Tina?" Yes, I'm gonna go support that with my money.
Hey,
I'm gonna, yeah. So
man,
if I find out where they're showing it anywhere here in the PNW, I'll give it a I'll go 3 hours. I'll drive 3 hours to watch it.
nice.
I'll drive.
It's been showing at film festivals. Tina, the movie. It's already done
Yes.
great. They're in the Pacific. They're trying to bring it here stateside. My sister went to one of the screenings in Palm Springs. Shout out to Lacey. She told me that she asked in the Q&A after the movie, what do you guys have to do to bring this movie stateside? And basically the director, Miki Mangasita, said that it needs to be picked up by a distributor. So hopefully this rollout, including it showing at the Asian Pacific Film. Oh, hello, Marcus went to go watch. So we're going to be able to hear his takes on that on the next episode of the Polytickin podcast. So definitely subscribe to this channel so you can get that when that comes out. Tina, yeah, 600 seater in LA, sold out, right? That I thought that was great. Hopefully, all this like momentum gets it picked up so that the rest of us can see it.
Yeah,
and don't necessarily
your
have to
sister
go
went
to
to
a film
watch
festival.
it, and my sister Nato went to watch it in LA. She got the invite. So yeah, she said it was a great movie. Uh, can't wait to see it.
There you go. All right, let's talk about another great, another rush of greatness that has been happening lately. The Las Vegas Raiders, long time laughing stock of the division,
Whoa.
is now. Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
Seeing what level you're gonna let me go here.
I won't take that slander.
The Raiders have been. Yes. We're up and coming too. The Chargers. We'll talk about them later. Yeah. So the Raiders have been underachieving expectations for a long time, right? Definitely Raider fans' expectations, and then the rest of us in the league have been seeing the Raiders and not fulfilling their full potential.
Yeah, I mean it's the franchise, the history behind the franchise. Al Davis for sure has a lot to do with it, with the way people kind of view the Raiders, whether they're in Oakland, LA, or Vegas now, but they've always been like that team in the league. They've been the team that the league loved to hate because of Al Davis and a lot of the things that he was doing. And
let's win, baby.
Right.
Was he like a jerk? Did he come off as like a pompous, or I mean, okay, or is that like a Raider fan or?
No, that I mean, like a lot of people looking around the league. What they didn't like is the league itself didn't like him just because he wouldn't like conform to a lot of the things that the league wanted him to do as an owner. Just I guess a rebel, and I mean, and that appealed to a lot of players too. So a lot of players, when they see
what were
guys
those
who
things
are
like having fancy parties or stuff? He seemed like a fancy guy, or like a rich.
Yeah, I mean, he was flashy. He was flashy, but like uh he was coming up at a time during like the 70s, 60s, so he was really into those
conforming
times.
ownership.
Yeah, and then owners just need they even like nowadays they want you to be
the
a
60s
certain way. They want you to look a certain way, so and we all seen Al Davis out, didn't look like an owner, always had his shades on, the slick back hair when he had enough hair to slick it back. Uh it's the leather Raiders jacket, or just in the spotlight. My gosh, had he been alive to take the Raiders to Vegas, man, like his son, Mark Davis, is so toned down compared to his father.
Compared to Al.
Yeah,
with that whole thing moving over to Vegas, that ending in Oakland felt like a funeral kind of time. It was like, this is the real, now we're going to like a big city for more money or something. Kind of similar when the Chargers went from San Diego to LA. Right. It was like, the hometown fans are like, who cares about this new team? Like the fan participation kind of felt a little broken. The spirit was like, okay. I mean, soon as y'all started playing in Vegas, it shifted, right? It was like, all right, everybody's back on board. It's the Raiders, no matter where they are. But that felt like a sad, slow time when you guys were finishing up in Oakland.
For sure. Did you watch
That
the
was a
series?
low.
Did you watch Ballers? Did you follow that
I think
show?
I watched the first season of Ballers,
Okay,
maybe
so
first
like
two.
The Rock at the end, The Rock he's gained enough I guess capital and backing to buy a team. And
Nice.
one like the story is that him and his partners are going to try to buy the Oakland Raiders, and this is at the time they were already about to move to Vegas. But so in this in the
Oh,
story, they're buying Oakland and moving them, of course, to Vegas. But um, he gets
it's
to
a nice
like
little
right, he gets to
connection.
Oakland, and like his driver is from Oakland, so like he's telling him like about Oakland, like they kind of make it like he's not really trying to convince The Rock not to take the team, but he's like just giving him history and telling him why the people of Oakland love the Raiders so much and this and that. And
And you better
I
not
guess
move them.
the meeting's supposed to be secret, and somehow the driver I guess gets a hold of a whole bunch of people, and they're out like in front of the hearing all of a sudden, and
Journalism.
like
Woo!
there's a whole bunch of people in front of it was pretty good. It was like accurate to the way people were feeling at the time about Vegas really, I mean Oakland really leaving. Sorry, the Raiders really leaving Oakland to go to Vegas. So that was pretty cool to watch because like super real to life events happening and everything. And I know Oakland just had a really tough couple of years with sports teams, with the Raiders leaving,
Oh man,
the
yep.
A's leaving again to Vegas. But I mean, they can still hold on to Golden State, who eliminated the Rockets last night. So I mean, they still got Golden State, and Oakland itself probably needs a facelift. I know people from Oakland and listen to this and be like, "The hell are you talking about? You're not from the Bay." Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of things out there that got to change for, you want to keep things out there. There's a lot of things that need to change in Oakland for the people itself, not just for like sports teams and stuff, but for the people who live in Oakland. Yeah, so yeah,
Uh, all right. You know what is crazy? Uh, I thought the Raiders' last Super Bowl was in '93. I
no,
don't know who that was. Um, the Raiders' three Super Bowls
that they won,
that they won:
right?
Super Bowl 11, 15, and 18. So
Yeah,
76, 80, and 83.
I just needed you to say that they won three. Thank you.
The what?
I just needed you to clarify that they won three. So when people listen to this, they know that.
Yeah, not like one appearance like some of our teams. Uh, but that was now
Those were in the
40
'80s.
years
Yeah,
ago.
right,
Okay,
right,
the
right.
last one was
That they made it
42
to.
years ago. That they won was 42
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
So
42.
having that how long have you been a Raiders fan? Like what year would you say?
Man, I want to say like I was like 8 or 9, so like 87, 88, 89, somewhere along that. I became a Raiders fan. My older cousin, who was been like a brother to me forever, shout out my cousin Richard Stowers, was a big Raiders fan. And at the time, I didn't have a team. Like, of course, I was one of those kids like in Samoa at the time. I had uncles who loved Frisco, of course, in the '80s. With the Polynesian community that was in San Francisco, it was obvious that a lot of people were going to, a lot of Polynesians were going to be San Francisco fans. So that trickled down to American Samoa. A lot of people there were Frisco fans. Um, Oddly enough, I don't know how it happened. I could say Mark Tournay, but I think there was some fans before that were Dallas fans. So Dallas was another big team in American Samoa. And
You
this
wanted
all,
something different.
yeah, Dallas. And then because of Dan Saleh, Kansas City had fans in American Samoa at the time. So, people were just back and forth, back and forth. But I chose Oakland because my cousin would talk about the Raiders with his homies all the time, and fell in love with the Raiders, started watching them. Bo Jackson is my favorite player of all time. People are gonna tell me that, oh, he didn't play that much, he didn't do as much in the league as people give him credit. I was like, okay, but he was great when he was on the field, so shut up. Uh, Besides, what other person in the NFL has a story about him chasing down a hog, tying him up, jumping across a river, and running like 3 miles to take it somewhere to feed a family? That's a legend he has in Alabama. So, but seeing Bo Jackson run over guys like Steve Atwater and gosh, I can't even remember his name, but there was a big white boy linebacker for Seattle, out of Oklahoma, who's an actor now, and I can't remember his name. Brian Bosworth, Jesus. Seeing him run over those guys at the goal line, and those guys are supposed to be the hitters in the league at the time. Bo Jackson, seeing him run like 94 miles against Denver, all those things were crazy. Bo Jackson was just crazy. That just added to the
that made you a Raider fan.
Marcus Allen. I got to watch him play as a kid. That was amazing. Guys, of course, Tim Brown was a Raider, but then they had guys like Willie Goat. If you weren't a Raiders fan, you probably didn't know who Willie Goat was. He was also a 100-meter gold medalist. So yeah, that made me a Raiders fan, and all throughout, again, probably 87, 89. That's when I started really like cheering for the
That's my
Raiders.
team. Planted your
Yeah,
flag.
yep, yeah, pick my team.
Nice. The team, I mean, I'm sure the roster has ebbed and flowed. It has been, in and out of like the playoff picture.
Yeah.
Made it to the Super Bowl in 2022. But it's been I feel like it's been a long wait for the Raiders to be kind of humming as one of the top teams in the league. But they've made some changes. They've, sold a minority stake of the team to partial owner Tom Brady.
Right.
Guys won some Super Bowls.
Okay.
They signed Pete Carroll, former Seahawks coach, Super Bowl winner, defensive creator, to come and shape this team. But it especially after Derek Carr left, it's felt like, what even are the Raiders? Aiden O'Connell, I mean, maybe they found a gem, but probably not. They signed Gardner Minshew. I thought that was a mistake. Should have just gone with Aiden O'Connell another year, whether he develops or you lose and get a good draft pick and then draft a quarterback. I don't think you had to bring in Gardner Minshew as a starter.
You missed Garoppolo. They signed Garoppolo.
Oh, yeah. So there was questions to finding a really good quarterback. You guys signed or traded for Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith, kind of having that reunion in Las Vegas with his former coach Pete Carroll, and even Mark Davis feels like he's kind of handed over control, or it's just Brady's name is so big that everyone kind of has their eye on that.
But not just Brady. I mean, I think Pete Carroll also is I'm not mistaken, he's the president of operations as well. So, which has also been a role that he had in Seattle. So he's got a little bit of control as well. But I think there's probably been other guys there, like Gruden's probably had that control too. But I think what is sticking out now is that Pete Carroll and John Spytek are working together better. So I think the moves of the GM and the head coach are meshing well together. As before, like you heard stories of just like coaches making other, like Gruden was rumored to have like so much power that it didn't matter. Like it didn't matter who the GM wanted to draft. Like what I mean, if Gruden wanted to draft whoever wanted to draft, he's going to draft them or sign them. Or,
damn.
Yeah.
The general manager just did the contracts.
Right. And then same thing as I'm one of those. I was excited for AP to be the coach, but also him and Tom Telesco maybe weren't on the same time. I don't know if they had the same direction with the player personnel with the team last year. So there's that.
Not the vibes.
Yeah.
Not the vibes that are currently, because right now it's freaking pointed up.
And I mean, yeah, and so a lot of guys like are going to be like, well, I mean, what's different from the other years? Just the feeling, just the feeling.
Nice.
I know you always want to be optimistic about, especially when a whole new regime comes in, uh, for your team, coaching wise, front office wise. You want to be like, well, these guys are coming in, they're going to be different. They did this at the previous places they were at, so they're going to come in with that continuity, bring it over to the Raiders, and they're going to do it like that. And, the teams they were with previously were great. That doesn't always work out, but just the enthusiasm that a lot of guys have with Pete Carroll coming in. Number one being Maxx Crosby, who before they re-signed him to that beautiful new contract for him, he was
Yeah.
unsure about whether he was going to stay or not, whether he was going to go and just look at the market and see what it was out there for him. Could have been his last year. Maybe ask for a trade.
Do not let him go look at the market. You better resign it.
That's exactly what they did. And you know, I don't even know if Spytech was a part of that, but they got that
Crosby
deal
definitely
done.
mentioned Brady being an influence for sticking around.
Sorry, yeah, of course, Brady,
Yeah.
yeah, Brady, and also, I mean, we can say all day long that he's just a minority owner, and like, there's no way he comes in there. But I think Brady got into this to. He was great on the field, you know, counted out at the draft. Of course, you're going to hear a lot of comparisons to Shedeur's story and his. If Shedeur does really good, because uh, I don't know if he was as highly touted as Shedeur coming out of college, but
No.
I know he expected. Yeah, I know he expected to go before the sixth, seventh round that he then went in. But he came into the league, tore it up. I mean, arguably, there's a lot of people who love other quarterbacks, but arguably the best quarterback that the league had ever seen, winning wise, yes. Uh, and so going into ownership, that's what he wanted to do. There's no way he was going to come in and be like some half-ass job and
Silent
just
guy.
right, just be this
Damn.
silent owner. The day
He's
I
got
mean,
pull.
he was making moves before they officially,
Bruh.
um,
Let's talk
you
about
know,
his first attempted move, trying to be with the Dolphins and that whole mess.
that that. Sorry, Dolphins. Uh,
He was like, "You can't sue me. I'm out. I'm gonna go to Vegas."
right. He's like, well, too late. I'm gone. I mean, I'm not part of that group anymore. Which was tough because I mean, I was talking a lot of shit. I was like, man, fuck Tom Brady. That guy's dirty. And then he comes over to me, yeah, Tom Brady.
It's sports, man.
uh,
It's
but
sports. It's
he,
what's the
yeah,
word?
he it's transcending. No,
It's
uh,
on the tip of my forehead. Cognitive dissonance. We all do it.
but yeah, you're definitely Tom Brady. Coming over and him reaching out to Maxx Crosby, you know, um, and then you hear of all these other players who've signed with the Raiders or like during the draft, like how he's reaching out to certain people. Uh, like you said, the influence is it's great. His influence is so great in the
It really
league
is.
and with people in the league that even if he was like a silent owner, I'm pretty sure just a word from Tom Brady, it means a lot to people. So yeah, he got Maxx Crosby back
He
on board. He
he's
got
this
Max Crosby
generation's like watching Mahomes. He was Mahomes before Mahomes.
before Mahomes.
Yeah,
Definitely,
to people
definitely.
in the know right now, or people even making decisions, people getting drafted. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
Now he's got on your guys' team. There's this like comeback story in a lot of the people, right? It's Tom Brady freaking got divorced after his fall.
Yep.
He had like a fall from grace. Right now he's building back, showing he's a freaking executive. He's got some weight. He can throw it around. Pete Carroll, his and with the Seahawks was a little messy. It was kind of amicable, but also like he was like, I can still coach. And he
They were like,
goes to the
nah,
Raiders.
right?
Yeah, they were like, nah, you can be the president. He's like, nah,
Nah.
screw.
Yeah.
Uh, but now he's got this like resurgence, or where not resurgence, but this comeback story where he's like, I'm going to turn around the freaking Raiders, turn them into like a defensive beast with a good running game and a decent quarterback that can win ball games. So I'm going to coach the hell out of these guys and make them play out of their socks and turn this team around and really show people that I still got it. You know, they're players. Geno Smith, the Seahawks gave up on him. Everybody else gave up on him. They wrote me off. I am right back though. That's your quarterback now. That raises the floor. That is not Aiden O'Connell. That's way above. This is a professional. This is like 2.5 Gardner Minshew's of like competence
he's
in
definitely
one player.
A top quarterback. He's not top 5, but he is. I believe he's like top 10 in the league. I don't think he's top 5, but I think he fits somewhere within the top 10. Maybe closer to 10 than anything, but still at the top part of the list.
Top 12.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no, but in that area, that is such a huge step up from like the 25th quarterback. You know, that's going to make the offense, which already includes Brock Bowers. Okay. Okay. So now you're going to have a competent quarterback. I need to draft this fool. That is, you're going from setting records with Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, to, you know, a quarterback that knows how to get the ball to his weapons.
Right.
That's going to be crazy. That's that comeback, right? Doubted, now given this chance here in this time with this organization and this team to show that they're more. Maxx Crosby, you talked about, like, he just got a huge contract. They're paying him big money to be a cornerstone. He was what, a 5th round pick? Like from Eastern Michigan?
Eastern Michigan, where he's the new assistant GM.
Right. He's worked his way up. He's put in the work, shown that like he's going to show up on game day, make a difference. Yeah, so it feels like they all are sharing this thread in like we were doubted, but now here is our chance to really put this together here.
For Maxx Crosby, I think it was different too, like re-signing. I know he had doubts of re-signing, and he was really just trying to make up his mind of whether or not he was going to get asked for a trade or leave. But his loyalty to the Raiders, I think, also played a role in him staying, because a guy, you know, they took a flyer on a dude in the 5th round who no one else would draft until that late, and wasn't supposed to be anything. It's they had the 4th pick in the draft that year. They picked up Cleveland Farrell. Didn't work out, you know what I mean? But
Boy, was that a great pick.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
When the people at the desk are like, "Oh, Cleveland Farrell here," I was like, nice.
I was hurt. Well, he was, and Cleveland Farrell, to be fair to him, not the Raiders picking him, but to be fair to him, he was the best defensive end in college that year at Clemson. He wasn't the most explosive.
Best defensive end on the best team in the best conference.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So he and then he was like projected as a 1st round pick, but 4 was pretty high, and they passed up guys like Josh Allen, who went to that's who I wanted. Who went to
MVP?
Not that Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, Josh Hines Allen.
Yeah. I really would have loved him. Sweat came out that year too. So those guys you could have definitely picked ahead of Cleveland Farrell, but they did end up with Maxx Crosby, and I think a lot of like the reason he stayed was because they did that for him. We're paying him already, gave him a fat contract before this contract, and you know they were trying to put pieces around him. They really made him the cornerstone of the team. So even though he wanted to leave, because you know it's his career, of course he wants a championship. Can't fault a guy for wanting to win. He ultimately just wants the Raiders to be great. If the Raiders can be great, he'd rather be there than anywhere else, I believe. So they got that done. Yeah, crazy.
There you go. Not only the players, coaches, owners, partial owners, whatever, minority owners. Sorry, Tom. The city, Las Vegas. We say sometimes, you know, oh yeah, that's one of those teams where the league is doing better when they are doing good.
Right.
That applies, yes, to the NFL and the Raiders, but I think it uniquely applies to the city of Las Vegas.
For sure.
Like I know
the money that could be made for the league to Las Vegas is wild. Like,
yes. Well, I mean, for the league, but even for the city,
yeah,
right? This is a city that's like it's booming, right? Expansion is out there. The strip might be down. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Vegas expert, but the strip might not be as busy, but it's like a growing population, and a city that's like always been viewed as like, oh, sex, drugs, gambling,
yeah.
vices. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Like the
Uh,
adult
adult playground, but also like, you
Disneyland,
know,
pretty much.
oh, okay, adult Disneyland. I would say that is Disneyland. That is the kids ain't paying for that. No, so Vegas is like going through a rebranding in itself, right? With so many people there,
Sure,
it
they
has a
got
growing fan base, but it's also
got
like a very popular sports city,
for
starting
sure.
with like the freaking
They got a
the
championship WNBA team.
right.
They already have a championship hockey team. They have a really storied franchise in the athletics coming to the city. They're building a brand new baseball stadium for them. They're building a $1 billion basketball facility, which is hoping to house not only the Aces, but the next NBA franchise to be added to the league. So,
Ooh.
yeah, I mean, you want to talk college sports? They're all
Uh,
right. They're all right. Like, UV's, uh, maybe in history, basketball, UNLV with Tarkanian being there, with Larry Johnson, Stacey Osmond, those guys. So, but as far as now, college sports, mm, they do have Bishop Gorman, who is anywhere from 1 to 5 in high school football every year. They're putting out just college players everywhere now these days, 5 stars, 4 stars. Um,
it's becoming a big sports city, and
the
like you said, it's hosting events and stuff like tournaments, NCAA games,
draft,
like
right? The
right,
draft,
yeah. But having the Raiders and the way that the NFL is such a huge entertainment company scaled to
right?
anything else in the world, like the numbers the NFL games do dwarf whatever NBA special Christmas game. There's extra NFL games this year on
Well,
Christmas.
the NFL has now tapped into the Christmas. They saw what the
Yeah,
NBA was being able to do. For
so
at first, it was
we'll take that.
right. NFL used to be it was the Thanksgiving games, and NBA controlled the Christmas games. But now NFL is like, you know what?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, they're friggin'
Yeah. I mean, and then just you can gamble on
colonizers taking
sports.
over.
You're definitely going to be. I mean, sports in Vegas is always going to be synonymous because of the sports betting you can do in Vegas. Uh,
Oh my gosh,
so
yeah.
yeah, that just that's crazy. And I know you asked me a couple days ago, like, what year did you think I thought the last time the Raiders felt like if you as a Raiders fan, the last time I felt they were coming up, not exactly 2014, but the end of 2014.
What
Uh,
was that?
they were able to draft first round number 5 pick Khalil Mack, second round 36 pick Derek Carr, and then in the third round they were able to get Gabe Jackson at 61. So those three guys were with the Raiders on the Resurgence the next year. Dennis Allen was the coach of the 2014 Raiders, but they went three and uh, they went 3-13 that year. And Dennis Allen was replaced by interim coach that year, uh, Tony Sperano. Oddly enough, Greg Olson
I think
was the
Dolphins when
OC.
I hear that name.
Yeah, exactly. Greg Olson, who was with the Raiders again last year, I think he's still there. He was the OC. So, um,
Not
they,
the Carolina Panthers tight end Greg Olson, right?
no, 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 no.
I whenever we're talking about
I
the
always
Raiders,
get
I
the
think Greg
yeah,
Olson. I'm like,
right,
that's not fair.
right. He's
They
not. Yeah,
had Greg Olson for such a long time. Wait,
yeah.
who is the Greg Olson you're talking about? He's a certain coach for the Raiders?
He's the OC. He's the OC multiple times for the Raiders. He's been the OC in the league before. Um, and then just notable players from that year that were on the team that continued on. Defense Justin Tuck was on that team. DJ Hayden, Charles Woodson was still playing free safety there. I forgot Lamar Woodley was there.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, guys like so the quarterback that was there that went 3-13 that year was Matt Schwab, who
Hey,
they
Shabby.
got out of Atlanta because he did that one season in Atlanta. And everybody was like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? So he
He
turned
filled
that.
in for somebody in Houston for the Texans,
Oh, for the
or
Texans.
he
That's
was
right.
the starter for the Texans for a
Yeah,
minute.
so I thought it was Atlanta. Yeah, so for the Texans, and then
I mean,
uh
he might have been in Atlanta too, but that's what I'm thinking. Matt
the
Schaub.
Raiders are like, hey, let's grab him. So they grabbed him, gave him a fat contract. Didn't work out at
No,
all.
I'm sorry.
They had Marquette King was on the team. The punter was a great punter.
Hey,
They had another my Alva because they have a my Alva on the team now who also plays linebacker. Had his brother Kaluka my Alva who was on that team. Yeah, it's just
Kaluka. You see
the
the
best.
Bob Ryan interview?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, he's
I
funny.
love you, no
Did you
Kaluka.
see him in Hawaii? He was trying to recruit a kid named Talanoa Edie, a linebacker. He was at high school in California, but transferred to Kuku plays last year. USC staff is in Kahuku right now on a recruiting trip. Rob Ryan is sitting they're barbecuing. Rob Ryan's sitting in the circle. He's got a Tafuna ear on, a Tafuna Warriors ear on. That's fire. I snapped the pic. That is so fire that Rob Ryan is wearing a Tafuna ear in that pic.
That's funny.
Uh, but the next year is when the team, like at the end of 2014, you saw those guys play, the guys they drafted, the guys they had, and they started to mesh at the end of the season. And then going into 2015, they went and got Del Rio, a man's man, which also got him in
Back.
trouble for being a man's man. They got Jack Del Rio. They went and got Bill Musgrave. They got Ken
Nice.
Norton to be the DC. And then that year they went out and they drafted in the first round Amari Cooper, who did well for them. Guys like Mario Edwards, who played D tackle, he's still in the league. John Feliciano, still in the league. So they got guys like that. And then Reggie McKenzie also was still their GM. So now they're working through that. They go 7-9 that season. Big improvement from 3-13. They did beat the Chargers twice that year.
Oh my God.
37-29, 23-20. Just thought I'd throw that out there as a cool stat. Free agents, free agents they added Michael Crabtree when
Okay. Oh, okay.
he joined in with Amari Cooper to form a really great tandem. They got Alden Smith to play linebacker that year. Uh,
Damn.
and then I don't know how many people know who Roy Helu was, but he played running back at Nebraska. Tony Kid Nebraska was amazing.
Was
Didn't get
he?
his
I think it
shot.
was with Washington.
He ended up he got drafted by Washington, but he signed with the Raiders. And then in 2016 is when they went to the playoffs. They went 12-4. Eventually lost
Hey.
to the Texans. That's also the year I believe they went down. Derek Carr was never the same after that injury. Like he wouldn't run anymore like he kind of used to. Just he'd sit in the pocket. He wouldn't take those risks anymore. So that's kind of also the year. That's funny. The year they actually uh saw the potential to those past 2 years is the year they also just kind of just they had Derek Carr. They ended up drafting, and this is also when they also started drafting pretty bad. They went out in the first round and got Carl Joseph. They
Safety?
yeah, safety 2016. They got Carl Joseph, and just it was weird. I don't know. They did win. They did win 12 games that year. It was crazy. And then the draft from that year just it started going bad. So like
Pulling up a list of the Raiders' first round picks.
after Carl Joseph in 16, they drafted Gary and Conley in 17, who's out of the league. 18, they did Colton Miller.
Who's
So
still with the team?
still with the
Right?
team and worked out. But so in 2016, after Joseph, Derrick Henry in the second round at 45. Michael Thomas in round 2 at 47. Round 3 at 79, Isaac
Wait,
Somalo. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's all in 16. And then after Conley in 17, um, Jabril Peppers, the very next pick. TJ Watt, round 1, number 30. And then round 5, 146, George Kittle. You know? Uh,
wait,
and then, yeah,
wait. Those are guys that you could have drafted.
yeah. Those. So the guys I just called they got all drafted after Conley
Right. Oh, gotcha.
in the
And
in the
even
draft.
even really late in the
Yeah,
fifth round and stuff.
George Kittle, 5th round. And then Miller, he's been great for the Raiders, I would say. And people didn't expect it. Like people were really like they were losing their shit when they called Colton Miller's name at the draft. Like who though? No one really had him projected to go. I don't even think they had him projected to go in the second round. But after Conley at number
Bro,
17, Derwin James went to some shitty team in
don't do
South.
that. It says 2019. You guys had those 3 first round picks:
That was, and they just, yeah,
Leland Farrell,
he's not with the team
24th
anymore.
overall, Josh Jacobs,
Not with the team anymore. Great,
and
that was
then
a great pick.
27th overall, Jonathan Abram, another safety. Guys drafting the safeties.
Another guy who's, I don't even think he's in the league either. Yeah, he's not in the
Uh,
league either.
2 first round picks in 2020. Henry Ruggs at 12. 19th
Not with the
overall
team.
was Damon Arnett.
Not in the league.
2021, 17th overall, Alex Leatherwood.
Not with the team.
I think he played for the Chargers a year or
No,
2 ago.
Chicago.
2022, no first round pick. 2023, Tyree Wilson.
So still out on him. He's done some good stuff. He did come in the league a little handicapped. Surgery on the foot. Didn't have a full off season. He looks pretty good. He's versatile. He can play inside and outside. He was projected by a lot of people to go where he went, but also some people didn't have him that high. But he was arguably the best defensive end in college that year as well. He's got good skill. He's a big body. Like I just said, he can play inside, outside. He'll play tackle in certain packages. He's a strong defensive end. He's shown like flashes, of course, but um, so
But
now the
this is
problem
just going to
is
be his 3rd year, so
right
not
now
yet.
the problem is if he can't show like extreme progress this year, like then they got to figure out whether or not to re-sign him or just let him go.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, after this year, they got to decide on his
which is
5th-year
tough because
option.
they just re-signed Kuntz, who they picked up in the later round too. When he got drafted, and he's just come on. Like I know it's just like the ending of that season. He had 8 sacks in the last like 4 or 5 games, and so they're really looking to have Kuntz come in and be, I think, the starter across from Maxx Crosby. Which you kind of figure out now. Well, what do you do with Tyree Wilson because
Just like a
he's an actual
rotational,
right, but
just like
he's
a
an
sub
actual
in.
end. He could play next to Christian Wilkins in the middle. They
Sure.
could have him there, play
Big
there.
enough.
He's 6'6", about 290 right now, 285. So big body. He moves quick.
Uh,
Uh, Not the typical D tackle that you want or no
yeah,
tackle. So
might be tall.
yeah, yeah,
So those picks over the last 8-9 years, especially in the first round when you're investing the most capital,
right,
it not really worked out, right? You said a bunch of them not with the team, some of them not even in the league anymore. Now you have Spytek in there as the new general manager, and like you said, a good fusion team with Pete Carroll and their decisions on how they want to build this team, execute, and grow this, how they want stuff to run,
right,
bringing in players on cheap, short contracts. Not signing anybody to huge mega contracts unless they're a superstar, and
right.
definitely keeping those superstars and not letting them leave is a big good rule for front offices. So it feels like this freaking arrow is pointing up for the Raiders. I love it.
Definitely. Even the guys that went and picked out in the draft, they weren't like big names. Of course, Genty. one of the bigger names in the draft. They got him at where they should have gotten him at 6, and then everybody else were just guys that uh can come in and play a role. They might not be
Uh,
stars right away. They might not be stars ever,
oh,
but they're going to be able to fill a role and contribute. Especially Besh, wide receiver out of TCU.
mhm.
Man, he looks really good. They got that corner that they drafted. He's a prototypical corner, and I know you hear that all the time when you watch film on Raiders draft and people talking about it. But corner he's 6'2", 6'3", runs a 4.3. He's rangy, lanky. Reminds you of all of Pete Carroll's defensive backs that he had at out there
Seattle.
or out here in Seattle. Sorry. Uh, so yeah, promising. Even like some of the D tackles they got. Just versatile guys who can really play. Numbers didn't pop, but they've got good physical traits. JJ Begees out of Ole Miss looks really good. Uh, Tonka out of South Carolina, another body. Just they're athletic to play defensive tackle, and then the tackle and the guard that they got in the draft too. Um, the tackle they got played at William and Mary, but it looks like one of those guys that in a couple of years is going to be one of those starters that you talk about along the old line. Um, Wherever he's going to play, hopefully with the Raiders, is one of those guys that's going to be a really good offensive lineman in the league. So yeah, it looks like they really had their scouts go out and a lot of thought went into these picks. So
11 picks, 11 draft picks. So that's another way we're talking about, like you said, when the last time the Raiders had a turnaround, they hit
yeah,
on a bunch of these picks. And to
they
have
did.
11 draft picks, you're gonna, that's
Originally nine,
more chances to get it right. You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
Like, or I mean, just if you're grabbing out of a bucket, you're gonna get more stuff, more good stuff if it's
Right.
the more turns you get.
They also had a lot of needs. So rather than get like two or three like really good players, like that would feel like just two or three needs,
They
they
got
went out and
10
got
good
quality
players,
dudes. Yeah.
quality
So
players. Yeah.
yeah, that can
Uh,
fill a whole bunch of needs and help the team more. They originally had 9 picks going into the draft, but they traded back twice, once in the second, once in the third, and were able to get 2 extra picks. So yeah, Spytech. This is his first actual GM job. He's been like a assistant GM at places and just a guy in the front office, but this is his first official GM role as the GM role, the actual GM. And so far, he's doing a pretty good job. He's getting a lot of praise from a lot of people, and I know that doesn't mean much because the season hasn't started and this is his first run, but that's good to hear. Especially guys who have been doing the job for a while. A lot of coaches and players out there talking about Spytech doing a great job. So that's good to hear.
uh, yeah, I'd say the answer to the team that I love to hate and the team that I hate to love are the same. It's the freaking Raiders. So it's good to see this comeback, this resurgence, as you called it, and really gonna have just add to the level. Like are the rivalry games, the AFC games, division games are already every week that they happen. They're a special week. For me, I don't know
Oh,
about you. I don't know,
for sure.
just these little
Especially
Chargers. But
now with now.
that's those are the top 2 weeks of the freaking season. I don't care what primetime games we have. I don't care what other like MVP races, defensive player of the year, whatever rivalries. Raider week, the best. You guys are the greatest fan base. Uh, always ready for a fight. On like social media, not like probably
I
real
mean,
life too.
I mean,
Uh,
if you ever been to a Raiders game, yeah, they're always ready for a fight there too.
but it's always have that confidence and like
Oh,
reckless,
that's definitely one of the
loud. Yeah.
greatest rivalries in the league. I believe. Yeah, it's one of the better rivalries,
Oh,
and it's good.
thanks.
And it's good for the conference too. To have uh two other teams. I mean, and then just they're kind of mirroring each other's. I guess climb back into to the top of the conference. We still have to deal with, of course, the Chiefs, as much as we hate them, they're still the team to beat in the
Pretty good
league.
draft pick. They traded up for Patrick Mahomes 10 years ago, and
Right,
it's been pretty
right.
good.
And so, but it's been good. It's good to see those two teams. I mean, you guys went out. You guys got Harbaugh. This season we went out and got Pete Carroll, two coaches who.
The Broncos went out, got Sean Payton.
I don't like
The
that
Chiefs
guy.
went out, got Andy Reid. Jesus, what is the AFC West?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the
Old
games.
guys.
The games are going to be so much more exciting and a lot more
Definitely, definitely.
weighing on those. I got like that's enough of that. That's enough of that. The Raiders are great. They got the arrow pointing up. We'll see how it goes.
They do. They're on the trajectory is pointing upward.
May 14th is the NFL schedule release. So in 2 episodes, we're gonna be able to map out the seasons for both the Chargers and the Raiders. We're definitely gonna get into that.
Guaranteed 2 wins already for us.
The bye week.
Somewhere down. 2 games we're either gonna play in LA or Vegas. Wins.
Bro. It's gonna see what I'm saying? This is so good. I'm ready. The Chargers, I feel like the Chargers are gonna check the Raiders real quick, and it's gonna be, oh, maybe this optimism was misplaced.
No. I can already hear it. Ashanti Genty. 96.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Touchdown.
I forgot. Oh, Najee Harris. Oh, he fell down. Okay.
Oh no, his legs hanging off.
Oh no. All right.
Just kidding.
Raiders, Resurgence, Vegas on the come up. This freaking team. All right, let's talk about somebody else that recently hit the big stage and has a chance to shine. Browns new rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel out of Oregon. Milani.
Yes,
Hawaii.
Oh, Trojans.
This drafted in the 3rd round by the Cleveland Browns, 94th overall pick. The Browns quarterback situation at the time was Deshaun Watson, who was re-injured, probably never going to play again for the Browns.
Right.
They traded for Kenny Pickett in March.
Right.
I think they traded away Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yeah.
For Kenny Pickett. So they brought in Kenny Pickett as a backup, as a vet, as competition, whatever. They signed Joe Flacco in April, veteran who was playing with them and is like, okay, well, at the least we have this floor of a Joe Flacco quarterbackship. Right. So Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round, that's a pretty high pick for a quarterback to just come in here. Probably not immediate starter, right? When you think about it, but going to be able to learn from Joe Flacco for the first season, maybe for the first half season, and then they put him in. The problem with that line of future forecasting is that the Cleveland Browns then in the 5th round traded up like 20 spots to the 144th pick and drafted Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders. You might know his dad. Deion Sanders, Hall of Famer, prime time for the Atlanta Falcons and Dallas Cowboys, and current coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. Former coach of the Jackson State football players. Jaguars, sure. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Okay. Worked to get his son drafted in the NFL for a long time and was expected to go a lot earlier than the 5th round. Definitely. There's a lot of media attention on Shedeur Sanders that Dillon Gabriel is going to either be overshadowed by or conveniently take away a lot of the,
pressure,
heat, pressure. Yeah. Not a lot of people are going to be paying attention, even though they should, to Dillon Gabriel. So I don't know if I want to talk like what would his path be to quarterback 1 for this team? Because I mean, people are already like, okay, Shedeur Sanders is better than him, better than Kenny Pickett, probably better than Joe Flacco. So Shedeur Sanders should start. But I think that's like the Sanders hype train. The NFL and the scouting of the NFL, I think, spoke to his actual like mechanics and play. Maybe uses this as a jumping off point to prove people wrong and say, hey, the way you guys evaluate quarterbacks needs to change because obviously I'm a lot better than that. That's an opportunity that Shedeur has this year. But Dillon Gabriel is like, I don't know. What is the expectation for Dillon Gabriel even to just kind of learn to be an NFL quarterback? He was a long time college quarterback, right? He got like a 6th season. I think 155 plus passing touchdowns.
He started playing at UCF high school. Was a 3-star dual threat quarterback. Went to the University of Central Florida. Played behind another Mililani quarterback, actually, who was just amazing out there too. Mackenzie Milton, but he had a really bad injury. He had a really bad injury, which gave way to Dillon Gabriel starting, and then Dillon Gabriel took over and never let go of it. Decided that UCF wasn't on the big enough stage at the time. Scott Frost is notable for giving him, a chance. He went out there and recruited Scott Frost. Was a great quarterback in Nebraska as well. He ran the wing T there. He's a running quarterback, so that's of note because Dillon Gabriel has kind of the same skill set he did. Wasn't a big enough stage. Yeah, he's a runner. Decided to go to Oklahoma, where he was again. He did great. Fit right into the system. Had a great season there, and then for his last season, figured, hey, shits and giggles, Oregon's about to be in the top 5 at least. Transferred over to Oregon and beat out the freshman there, Dante Moore, who was had transferred over from UCLA. And just he had a great season. Oregon was their trajectory was the national championship. We saw them win week after week in the regular season. And he came in
the last undefeated team,
right?
The only undefeated team at the end of the year in the nation.
He came in and he took over for Bo Nix, who had a similar really great season the year before him, who had transferred in from Auburn. He came in, similar skill set. The
season last year, his only in Oregon, first team All-American, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, first team All Big Ten honoree, 73% completion, 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions.
And this is the thing. In any other
amazing statistics.
Amazing.
I like it.
It could also, I mean, a lot of those stats, I'm not gonna say he's not a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but some of those stats could also be just a little bit padded because of the offense that he played in.
A system quarterback.
Nah, I don't go that far. No. But the system itself really did help him with some of those stats, as it did Bo Nix, though. But as we
Bo Nix, 12th overall pick, 2024.
Bo Nix came into the league, was a good quarterback. He was a serviceable quarterback in Denver. Yeah. So he was a good quarterback in Denver. He fit into Sean Payton's system. He did well for Sean Payton.
Okay.
So
I heard that Sean Payton was like down for Bo Nix. Oh, yeah, another guy that had a lot of college experience, right? Bo Nix was like a super senior.
Bo Nix,
right? It says freaking end. What is this? It says Gabriel was played the most games by a quarterback in FBS history. 64 games and started 63 of them.
I don't see the problem with that. I feel
that's
like
not a problem. I don't think that's a problem. I think that's a strength, right?
No,
that's
I know. Yeah. A lot of guys are just like, well, he played so like he's older. Okay, what's the problem? Like I was about to say, in any other draft that didn't have the drama of Shedeur Sanders, and I'm not saying it's his fault or anything, but the fact that he was projected to go 1 or 2 for a little bit, one of the 2 top picks in the draft, then maybe top 5, and then they had him sliding to 17, and then the actual draft day came, and he slid all the way to the 5th round, which is why when they drafted Dillon Gabriel and they still had Shedeur on the board, it was a problem because a lot of people felt like
Oh,
Shedeur was a better quarterback.
mm,
And then when he finally got picked in the 5th round, and like you pick Dillon Gabriel, then you would have the audacity to go back in the 5th round and pick him up. It's like, bro, like
yeah,
one, you have people who were saying conspiracy, Shador was being blackballed. Then you have people who were saying that he's, the slide is because of his attitude, not racially fueled. Then you have people who are just like, well, he's not that good. But why did you draft him? You already drafted Dillon Gabriel in any other draft, and people were saying, "Well, you drafted Dillon Gabriel too early."
yeah.
I think in any other draft, without all of that, not Shedeur himself, but without the drama that came with Shedeur, I think people would have been pretty like satisfied with where
Yeah.
Dillon Gabriel went. And
Mhm.
I think that's why. And to be fair to him, so like now, I'm not even going to talk about Shedeur. You want to know, and you asked what I think his path to starting is. I think it's a pretty clear path. Uh, He's more athletic than Pickett, I think, with his legs. We've seen him run. I think he's a better passer than Flacco. Of course, he doesn't have to worry about he doesn't have to
Yeah.
worry about Watson right now. I think he has to be if Shedeur. The talk about Shedeur in college and why he was so uh, talked about his skill set, why people thought he was so highly rated or have him highly rated was his consistency. So if he can come in, he's better with his feet than Shedeur is. Shedeur is athletic, but Dillon Gabriel can run better. If he can come in and be more consistent throwing the ball, I think he's a starter ahead of Dillon Gabriel. I mean, ahead of Shedeur Sanders. Uh,
Shedeur, I don't know if it was like his line, but he got sacked like 20% of the time. One every five, or was it that pressure? It compared to like Dillon Gabriel, who is maybe in better situations, but it was like 4%. That's a
yeah, for
huge
sure.
difference in like how to keep your offense on track, how successful your offense can be if you're not getting uh,
Right.
it back with a sack. According to Cleveland.com's Mary Kay Cabot, the reason why the Cleveland Browns took Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders is, quote, he's played in multiple schemes, picked up new terminology quickly, and hit the ground running in each of his stops. He's extremely confident, has excellent leadership ability, and has started an FBS record 63 games. He's also tied Case Keenum for the all-time FBS record with 155 touchdown passes. I know that's like a canned statement of like,
But I can
uh,
believe that.
but that
You know what I mean?
you have like someone who's been more calm, composed, uh, successful, and
That's
then you
all
have
facts
Shedeur
too.
Sanders, who's you know a great. He's a baller, but different stats,
Right.
right? So you go with Dillon Gabriel, who, if he continues this, easily becomes a quarterback one. If he can just outduel Joe Flacco and let Shedeur like be Shedeur over here with the cameras and stuff, Dillon
Right.
Gabriel can ride like a low, just a wave into becoming the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco, 41, whatever, however old, 39, whatever it uh,
He's old.
is getting old. Hopefully he can be the Marcus Mariota to Jaden Daniels in this
Right.
situation, right? Where Joe Flacco is like, hey, you take it, Ricky, you take the reign.
Right.
I'm gonna, be your support, show you the ropes, show you how to navigate certain things here in the quarterback world, because it's different for quarterbacks. The how much the offense depends on you, how much the team success depends on your success in making this offense run. For the quarterback position, that is more than any other player. So, but you have this crazy, I'll say media circus around Shedeur Sanders and his own, media and stuff. You
Yeah.
have Kenny Pickett, who's probably not going to be like, if you can't beat Kenny Pickett, then you don't deserve,
Right. Right.
at
Exactly.
this point.
Yeah.
And then you have Joe Flacco, who's gonna have the advantage because he knows the
He's done things that
facilities, he
he's done
knows the
things that you
field.
haven't done yet. Yeah, of course.
Right,
He's
right, right.
already been
So,
in the league. Yeah, so
but that what they're saying, where he's Dillon Gabriel has been to 3 different stops in college, and each time hit the ground running. That could be like, and you've seen the freaking success of rookie quarterbacks in the last couple of years, just stepping in and being ballers. I don't know if that's the way quarterbacks are being taught or coached, but it's more hit the ground running. And they could be the Washington Commanders, where the franchise is reset off of this, one draft pick. Well, I mean, I think I was thinking more about the Raiders there. The
I
Cleveland
mean,
Browns
no,
probably not going to. The Cleveland Browns just need a good quarterback, and Dillon Gabriel,
he could be that guy.
he can
He
be
could.
that guy. Professional, good, clean. He's like not going to have any. I don't know. It says he donates his NIL money to charity. It's like, come on, that's great. I understand why they drafted him, and he's got that opportunity, and I hope he takes quarterback 1. We're going to be following him closely. Go Trojans.
Look, he could have been high on the Browns uh draft board because they didn't expect Shedeur to be there anyway. You know?
Yeah.
So they could have been the team that planned to draft Dylan Gabriel at that spot. Had nothing to do with Shedeur being on the board. And even though Shedeur, so now you got to think when Shedeur
Well, they,
starts dropping, it's like, well, why is he dropping? Why would we mess up our board for a guy he's dropped 2 rounds already? He was projected to go 1 at one time, but now he's dropping. There's all these other teams some teams had multiple chances to draft him. They didn't either. Teams that needed quarterbacks didn't draft him. Pittsburgh and Las Vegas didn't draft him. Why would we change our board to draft this guy? Of course, you know,
I
the,
mean,
the
if you,
you take a chance. Some guys were like, no, you take a chance. But again, like I said, they probably just had Dylan Gabriel on their board and they were really high on him before Shedeur's slide and just went with the board that they had. And
but then in the 5th round, they were like, oh, we got
he's
to
still there.
trade up to get
Let's
this
get
guy.
him. Hey. So I mean, and then that's just like that's where I think they messed up because now, especially trading up to get him, it's like okay. And then you have the GM now coming in, the owner sitting, both of them talking about they weren't the ones to make the call. Well, who made the call then? It's like, and the coaches, the GM, when they made the call, they both, of course, they said they were tired. They had been in the draft room all day, but they looked so unenthusiastic about the
They
pick.
didn't look, yeah, they weren't fist pumping or like, yeah, we got Shedeur in the
Right.
5th,
They were
baby.
just like, yeah, like, all right, it's done. You know what I
Low-key
mean? Like,
mad. Like, all right,
can we
yeah,
go
check
back
this
to
off the
our
boss's list.
right, right. So yeah, that part I don't agree with Pittsburgh. I mean Pittsburgh, sorry, Cleveland. Um, just at that point, just let somebody else draft him. Let him go somewhere where maybe he has a chance to start as well
Yeah.
without the
Well,
controversy. You already have the guy that you wanted and didn't Gabriel. So
that's the
we'll
thing.
just
You already had a quarterback. Like
yeah,
anybody could have drafted Shedeur in the 5th round, and
right,
it'd be like, oh, okay, you got a quarterback. Like, especially if there's a path to the starting
right,
quarterback spot. If any of those quarterbacks, like if the Raiders would have took him in the 5th round, that's fine. Like,
right. Because
not that
then
he would have started over Geno Smith,
no,
but
then people would have been like,
just
he still had a plan. If Las Vegas had drafted him, the plan would be to sit him, and then he could come in when Geno was ready to sit down. That was a
yeah,
clear plan. People saw that. He goes to Pittsburgh, he's got a much clearer chance to start, unless they
right.
sign some
But
jackass who's
I'm
hiding in the cave somewhere.
I'm saying when you're in the 5th round, if you're a 1st round prospect in the 5th round, anyone can take you. Even like the Chiefs could have
No,
taken him,
definitely, yeah, definitely,
and it would
and
have
it
been like, oh yeah, fine, that's
situation,
fine.
yeah,
But for a team that just took a quarterback the day before
and that
to
needed a
then do
quarterback,
it and
right?
it be around this, accepting all the drama around it was
Yeah,
head scratching. So we're gonna see how that turns out. But that I feel like a lot of the Dillon Gabriel conversations are gonna turn out the way uh it's gonna be, oh, somehow pivot towards Shedeur Sanders and stuff like that. So
right.
he's gonna be
I
able to
hate that.
like freaking
I
coast
hate
under the
that for.
radar.
I
Well,
hate
it
that.
could be good. What I'm saying
It,
is like he could just put his head down and like be the antithesis of that. Like
He should.
there's 15 reporters around Shedeur's locker every day, but that's some Johnny Manziel stuff, right? That's like he's not even the starter yet. Dillon Gabriel can just put his head down, go to work, learn, not have people up in his face asking crazy
He should.
questions. So
I
that's
mean,
it could
I
be a gift or a
just
curse, or it could be like, oh, there's all these people around, it's making it difficult. So hopefully that's not how it goes.
I just hate the media these days. Like even with
Uh,
I seen
that's
something about
us.
Abdul Carter. Nowhere better. Uh, uh, a reporter came out and was like, Abdul Carter's so disrespectful. He came out right away and asked for 56. Like he hasn't done anything in the league. And Lawrence Taylor is arguably the best defensive player the league has ever seen. It's like, first of all, he didn't demand the number. He was asking Lawrence Taylor
Yeah.
if he could wear the number, if it would be okay to wear the number to pay honor to him, to also, in hopes that that would entrench him as the
LT
guy in New
said,
York.
"Oh, I think that number's retired." Nah, you go make a name for yourself.
Yeah,
And
and
then
so
Phil Simms, Giants quarterback, offered him the 11 that
that he
Carter
wears in
wore
college.
in college at Penn State, but then Phil Simms got outvoted by his family to unretire it. So they said they're keeping it retired.
Yeah, and
And
so
then Abdul Carter was like, damn, I'll just play with no number. He
right,
tweeted
and
that out.
but
It's like, I'll just play with my name on my back.
it's funny because people are just like, "Oh, he's so disrespectful." You don't even know the kid. Like it's just some of these guys are irresponsible with when they tweet things out, put out a report. It's like you're saying stuff like this, like you know who the kid is, and it's like that's definitely not who he is. That's not how the story went. And I know you love Lawrence Taylor or you love this guy who you think he's disrespecting, but it's like, bro, make a better
Not that
story,
big a deal.
write a bigger story. You know what I mean? Like write a better story. Don't put it out like Abdul Carter was like, "Look, I'm taking 56. I don't care who wore it. I'm gonna make." That's not what he said. So
I mean, he wouldn't be asking for 56 if it wasn't LT's.
that's what I yeah. So yeah. So
It's not it's April news.
that's what I mean. That's
It's
what I
April
mean.
drama.
Exactly. People like putting up, and then like even with Shedeur now, people were like, what were they saying about Shedeur? Just like a recent one, like a new one popped up.
Yeah.
Oh, a GM came out. Anonymous GM said they didn't want to take him. Oh no, it wasn't him. Another quarterback. They said instead of taking, oh, what's
Oh
his
my
name?
gosh.
The Ohio State quarterback. What's his name? Uh, Will
Quinn
something.
Ewers.
No, no, from Ohio State, the champion. Actually, it was Quinn Ewers. You're right. See, there's all this information coming. They said to let Quinn Ewers slide to the fifth because they believed he was supposed to be drafted in the third, and he wasn't drafted in the third. They were like, "Oh well, we're just not gonna pick him then," because
The hell?
I was like, "That's
How does that
stupid."
make sense? You're getting a deal.
That's what I was like, bro. These guys are weird. Like the stories that some of these guys are coming up with are just crazy.
Yeah. All right.
Devin
Our
Sharp.
last one. Speaking of crazy stories, Dwayne Johnson,
You don't talk
The
about my uncle
Rock,
like that, man.
the final boss. I'm upset with this man.
He's got a plan, bro. Just believe in it.
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna write something together, but this guy needs to sell this a lot better. The Rock recently went on Pat McAfee show on ESPN, and McAfee works for WWE. The Rock is, kayfabe, quote unquote, a board member, or the freaking final boss is the ranking board member of TKO Group, which owns UFC and WWE. Had this whole thing at Elimination Chamber where it helped John Cena do the turn, where he was like, for weeks leading up to Elimination Chamber, telling Cody Rhodes, I want your soul, Cody. I need your soul. Be my corporate champion. I'm the Vince McMahon now. Oh my God. I'm that figurehead. I'm the king of WWE. Be my champion. I'll make your dreams come true. John Cena wins Elimination Chamber, and he's gonna fight Cody Rhodes. He's like, I'm challenging you for that title, Cody. Cody's like, hell yeah, John Cena, me versus you. That's gonna be cool. The Rock's music hits. Travis Scott comes out. The Rock comes out, and he's like, make your decision, Cody. Is your soul mine? Of course, Cody is a babyface, a good guy. He says no. John Cena hugs Cody Rhodes. Face changes when he sees The Rock do the finger across the neck. John Cena turns heel, shocks the world. It's going crazy. He gives a low blow kick to Cody Rhodes. They beat him up. The 25-year babyface has finally turned and sold his soul to Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who's going to make his attempt for a 17th most ever record-setting title in WWE history. What a story, right? The Rock is going to be that guy. The Rock does not show up at all for WrestleMania. He watches WrestleMania from his home in Hawaii. Says he knew how the finishes were going to happen, but maybe would have done things finesse things a little bit trying to get there. Would you have expected The Rock to be there? Because we all expected The Rock to be at WrestleMania. This is you're selling this as like the soul of the industry. John Cena was like, if I win that title, I'm retiring it. No one else can be the WWE champion ever again. Go start some other WWE second champion, whatever you want to call the belt. I'm sure you guys will do something. But he was saying, like, I'm taking this whole thing from you. Sold his soul, made the biggest heel turn for The Rock, and The Rock doesn't show up. That was definitely one of the questions that he got asked on McAfee, and said that it was like a weird story the way he was talking about it, bro, because he was like, I don't know if he was trying to change the way that it actually happened necessarily, but it felt like a little edited. But he was talking about, yeah, Triple H wanted me to come and be there, but I had other stuff that I wanted to do, and I didn't want it to be about the final boss, and I was like, what have the last 2 years of my life been for then? Just doing this whole thing with the bloodline in WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and like, I'm the final boss. It's going to be me and you next year. You got to, and if you have this evil figure, this heel figure in the company, he's got to be at the show of shows. But he was saying, they wanted me to do it. I didn't want to. I wanted the focus to be on John Cena's 17th title. I wanted the focus to be on John and Cody, their story, and how John's going to ruin professional wrestling. I don't know. I kind of got the feeling that there are some creative differences happening.
I'm pretty sure.
And maybe Definitely. It's not like, I don't know, them totally fighting about stuff, but it doesn't seem united and in sync, right?
Right.
That was weird to not have him there at that show. But he's saying creatively he made the call that he did not want to be in the WrestleMania finish.
I'm pretty sure that maybe they wanted him there in a capacity where it was like didn't make sense to him. So he probably was just like, you know what?
Oh, okay.
It's probably
they have real show writers now. I mean, not that.
No, for sure.
But it's like everything's so connected, well, like presented, and I don't know, it's pretty seamless. So, it felt like a really weird,
really big. He's as good as a guy as he seems to be. Pretty sure he still has an ego about a lot of things. And Triple H, he's been a big guy in the industry too. So I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of ego there too. So
they're like really fighting in real life now. Not fighting, but they're like battling out and who has the most power. Like, you're the chief content creator, but I'm the board member.
I'm the board member.
I'm the honorary board member.
I'm the actual boss. Right. And you're just honorary board member. But so I mean, I've seen it happen before and stuff like that, like entertainment. And The Rock, with all he's done, I don't know if he wants to keep a certain image, whether it's in wrestling or outside of wrestling. Maybe they had him doing something he didn't believe in. So,
I mean, it must have been, or that,
right.
or maybe he's filming. Well, he wasn't filming on the
Or
night.
I mean, he could have been, or like, yeah, and this is just totally Polynesian answer, but his mom's old. She might have been sick. Maybe he didn't want to leave. You know what I mean? Maybe something
Okay,
was
all
happening
right,
with
okay.
her. You know what I mean?
I mean, they would have. I feel like they would announced that or something like.
He's pretty
I would
private
have been
too
there,
about
but
his.
I'm a
Yeah, I
really
mean,
good son, and I stayed with my mom. Mahalo. This fool was blabbing though, man. He was talking about Cody Rhodes and how he's going to turn heel in the future. I was like,
obviously,
why are
and
you messing that up? Of course,
that's
that's like
that's that's
a
another
fan
thing.
theory.
If he's giving out stuff like that, maybe there are some creative differences, and he's just like, you know what? Well, if we're gonna be at odds, fuck your storyline.
Yeah.
My language. I'm gonna go on here. I'm gonna tell everybody what's gonna happen.
It seemed a little rehearsed. Uh, he said, I never had worries about John. My thoughts were mostly on Cody, on what we established with his story and the kind of baby face that he is. If done right, if finessed right, if nuanced right, that's a lot there, Rock. Chill out. Down the road, not only an incredible babyface run again as champ, but just an unheard of run as a heel down the road. I was like, oh.
I mean, like I'm not a writer, but and then I've just been watching wrestling for a long time. But and fans also, like you said, that's like a fan theory. How could you not theorize that though? Like I'm pretty sure everybody's just waiting for that
Okay.
exact thing to happen. Like so.
Eventually, that will be the entertaining thing to do.
Right. Because I mean, everybody still wants to see Cody in that capacity. They don't want to see him
You know what I
be,
didn't want to see was Travis Scott. Travis Scott come down there and help John
bro.
Cena win a
It's
17
one of
title.
the reasons I
What the
don't
hell?
watch wrestling a lot. Is because I don't want to see guys like Travis Scott there. Like, bro,
You don't want to see I Show Speed get speared in
no,
half at the Royal Rumble?
I don't. I don't want to see that. Like, bro, like
Have you
I
seen
don't.
it?
Man, I watched it, but those I don't want. That's not
I liked it.
entertainment
I
to me.
liked it.
Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if
It's
I
these
get to
little
see him,
spots. These little spots they do.
if you
Little
can throw
gimmicks.
like, if you can throw speed into the crowd and he gets hurt, I'm all for it. I want to watch that. You know what
He
I mean?
threw him outside of the ring and then they freaking back suplex him.
No, I want to see him actually just take the like, and then like next week you see him in like a body cast.
Oh no.
That's what I want to see.
All right. We're on the way out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Shout outs before we go. Shout out to Levasa Island Apparel.
Always.
www.levasaislandapparel.com. Also on Instagram at le_vasa.
Go
Shout
do
out
it.
to Brother Eri out there in Modesto, California. The Via Dolorosa Neighborhood Market is this weekend, May 10th, or this Saturday, May 10th. Definitely get out there in Modesto, 1331 Cascade Avenue. Check out what they got going on. Vendors, clothing, selling their wares,
Food.
making that community, food.
Right.
Yeah.
But also,
If you're hungry, Saturday. And I think it's
right.
from 2 to 9. Wait, no, it
I
might be
think
from 9 to
it
2.
might be. And besides the market, also, if you guys are always looking for help with food, Erod took a break this weekend, but every weekend down at the same place, Erod and the people from the church run a food bank. So if you guys need help with stuff like that, um, get in contact with Erod. He can give you the details. If not, go down to the church on Saturdays, and him and the youth from the church, they're all there waiting.
Hey.
They're waiting to help you guys, give you some food if that's what you guys need. And if there's other things there that they have that you need, I'm pretty sure they can help you with that too. So yeah, man,
Nice.
E-Rise, go and if you are in the mood or have the heart to help them out with the food banks, they're also always looking for help with stuff like that. Uh, it's not always easy coming up with stuff to give at the food bank, but they do get donations. Thankful for everybody who does donate to the food banks and helps out with that. But if you're in
Oh,
that position to help, please help.
yeah. There's also the Via Dolorosa Youth that are doing a fundraiser. You can check out Eri's
Oh, yep.
URS page. But yeah, if you want to donate, you could donate like a certain dollar amount for whatever day on the calendar. They're trying to fill up the entire month of May. So yeah, definitely, man, tap in. They're good people. They're obviously doing great things for their community, being outstanding and upstanding. So
Yeah, definitely.
check out that neighborhood market, check out the food bank, check out the donations for the youth group there at Via Dolorosa in Modesto, California.
And if you guys do donate $1, let us know in the comments or email, and Lance will do a nice little dance for you on the next show.
Shout out to the Polytickin Network. Definitely tap in, support the Patreon, follow the YouTube channel, follow us on socials, follow the audio, Spotify, and
Patreon.
Apple Podcasts. Yep, the Patreon, support the Patreon, Polytickin Podcast.
The boys are funny, man. They talk about real topics. They're serious about it, but they're also very fun, entertaining. Go down there, sign up with the Patreon. You get to see Lance in extra time on there too. You get to see him here. You get to see Lance when he's with them too. But also you get to see Seth and Marcus talk about whatever they want to talk about. You know what I mean? But it's always entertaining. It's always informative. The show's great. Please go. It's
perspective.
Yeah, it's my favorite $5 spent every time I look into my bank account and wonder why there's $5 missing.
Hey, yeah, it's automatic.
It's automatic.
It'll
That's what I'm saying.
Shout out to Jeff Ulbrich, who got fined $100,000 for his son.
Beat that ass, Jeff.
Bro.
Beat that ass.
Hey, he went up there and I felt like he took responsibility in that speech that he gave to the press. But he also kind of mentioned that, like, I'm going to deal with my son, but this is on me. Okay, you can leave him alone now. Like, he stuck up for his son while also
saying that's a father. That's a father. That's
yeah, well done.
$325,000 prank call.
That's crazy. $100,000. Oh, I'm so
100 from his dad, 225 from the team. That's wild.
Shout out to the American Samoa under 16 girls soccer team who beat Papua New Guinea 1-0 last week and won in a 5-3 match versus Cook Islands. I think it was Friday. A Oceanic Federation Football Confederation qualifying match. So they're going to get to go to an OFC event tournament. And according to Monica Miller on the news, that this is the first time that any team has qualified any level has qualified for an OFC event.
They also won a couple games a few months ago too. They've been on this, like, the program, not the girls, of course, but the program with these girls have been on a really good, like, wave of, like, progress. Nice. So that's great to see. If you guys know American Samoa and soccer, it hasn't always been a great story. You guys can go watch
it's been a good
Let's
movie.
Go Wins, right? The documentary. Watch the documentary.
Great documentary.
Watch the movie. Shout out to my guy Tyler Luvu. Yeah. So I mean, if you're wondering why are they excited about an under 16 and them getting to beat you guys, because we know the history of our home and with the soccer and everything, and this is big for us. So yeah, thanks Lance for shouting them out. I didn't know. That's great news. Amen.
Shout out to Mikaele Sailua, U.S. Teacher of the Year, top 4 finalist. Nice. Didn't win, but she posted this week or last week about being at peace with the decision, getting to meet the other finalists and continuing to do work supported by DOE and all the.
Great job, Mikhail. Great job, Mikhail. Yeah. Love it. Shout out also to my uncle who stepped down as the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, who will now be taking. Why are you laughing? Who will be taken up as the president of operations now for the San Antonio Spurs, Greg Popovich. Oh man.
Shout out to Uncle Pop.
Hey, look, there's a lot of stories about him too with players like just
Yeah.
like Stack, my guy Stack, man. He has a
From Sinners?
no from Up in Smoke, all the smoke podcast. I just can't remember his whole name right now just because I listen to the
Jerry
podcast often.
Stackhouse?
No, Steven, him and Matt Barnes. What's his name?
Matt Barnes?
Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson, they call him Stack.
Lance Stevenson?
No, that's it. So Steven, he has a hate love relationship with Pop, like a lot of stuff he
Okay.
didn't like, but like now that he hears about Pop retiring, he loves Pop. And then if you hear all his other players talk about the one story I heard earlier yesterday was from the Rosen. His father had passed away after one of the games. He told the gym he was going to leave
Yeah.
because
Oh,
he
yeah.
was spending time in the room, and then he wanted it quiet. He didn't know that Pop had found out. Pop came, knocked on his hotel room door, and sat in the room and cried with him for 2 hours and told him, "I'm not going to leave this room until you do." So things like that, a lot more than sports. And Greg Popovich, definitely one of those guys that was so much more than just sports, and it's always like stepped up for his players, stepped up for equal rights, civil rights, and then even what's her name's the coach of the Las Vegas Aces, Becky Hammond, just credits him so much for where her career is at today, and that's amazing. So yeah, shout out to Pop, man, one of the
Shout out
better
to Pop.
coaches that they've had in the NBA.
One of the
Wore a
better
shirt to
people.
yeah, showed a press conference today where he was turning over the coaching job to the next coach, and he had a shirt that said El Jefe, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm no longer the head coach. I'm El Jefe." And in my head, I was thinking, "Thank God you have no Samoans playing on your team."
Jeff. Shout out to Coach Pop. And shout out to Tim and Myers Teleso and everyone that helped out with the
Hell yeah,
replacing the swings at Lions Park.
man!
Oh man, it sucks that we have to do that, but good that we have people that
And it's
show
funny
up and
because
get
all
it
it
done.
took was a few bucks. They ordered the parts off of Amazon. They were able to go and put things together and get the kids back on these swings. What's sad about it is that the park in American Samoa, the Lions Park, just had this big like whole renovation maybe about a
Oh,
year ago or a little less than a year ago. They redid the whole park, and to have people, who have great people who don't work for the government end up having to fix this stuff for them is wild. So whoever is running Parks and Rec right now, you know
Parks
what I
and
mean?
Rec.
Man, I know a couple of my guys work for there, and so hey, tell your boss to get it together.
Hey, make the call.
Mm. So, but
uh,
yeah, if
any
you
other
guys
shout
don't
outs?
know Tim and Myers, great guys, man, great
Yes,
guys,
sir.
great guys. Man, just a shout out to Seth, man, with everything. I know we've already said it, but with everything Seth's been going through recently, just for him being back on the show, it's great to see him on the show again with Marcus.
For
And,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, just laughing about it. Put out a new song. If you guys haven't heard it, go check out Cepha M on Apple. Check out the music. All the music is good, but he just put out a really great song. So go check that out. But great to see you again, Seth. Great to see you again. As always, if you need anything, let us know. But yeah, good to see you again on the show.
Appreciate you guys tapping in with us, following, listening along. Definitely send in your comments to Ballinesian on Instagram and TikTok or ballinesian@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the YouTube page on the Polytickin Network or hit up the Patreon. There's like a whole community chat that goes on patreon.com/the Polytickin Podcast. Appreciate you guys. This make these wins all that more satisfying versus you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay balling. Love and light. Peace.
Lakers in 5.